That time of year again. People are getting food plots in, and for various reasons. I've already went over the reasons I plant food plots, so I won't repeat that. I got my soil test back, and I limed that field 4 years ago, and it's dropped somewhat. It's only 5.8 right now on the pH level, and to bring it up to the level that I want would be 6.5, at least 6.5. It's going to take 2,073 pounds of ag lime plowed in at 6 inches deep, or to get the 100% maximum, the 6.9, you're going to need 4,374 pounds plowed in at 6 inches deep. Well, that's if you use ag lime. For most of us that are planting food plots, you're probably going to go with a pelletized lime. And don't be misled by people who are telling you there's a difference. This particular reading right here that I got, and you can download it off the internet, this company's been in business for over 100 years. And pelletized lime and ag lime are the same. It's the only difference is they put a solvent in it, mixture, and what it does is it takes the powdered lime and makes it into pellets. You know, where it's powder, it'll actually cling together in a pellet, but once it gets out in the soil, it'll dissolve. The thing is, you have to have the proper pH. Now, I've watched quite a few food plot videos, and they just sort of skim over the most critical point, and they go right to their fantasy new food plot endorsed by the latest, newest, greatest so-called celebrity pro staff person. Well, I got a word for fertilizer. It's either fertilizer or bullshit, and what they're talking about is bullshit. I want to demonstrate something here for you folks. Your pH has to be right. I don't care what fancy name they put on the bag and what kind of celebrity's trying to talk the talk. I don't use trickery here in the cameras or Hollywoodism or anything. Strong foundation is what you've got to stand on, and I'm going to demonstrate that here just a second. What I'm going to show you is a dollar bill. That represents your money in fertilizer. If you do not have proper pH on the onset, chances are for every dollar of fertilizer you're going to get a quarter's worth of that. You're not even going to get sometimes that, because it will not be used by the seed that you're planting. And I don't care who endorses it or how spectacular they are or what TV show they have. That's irrelevant to me. I'm trying to tell people that are listening the fact. If that pH, if you want to get $1 return, the cheapest way to do that is through the proper pH. There's 2,000 pounds, or 2 ton, 4,000 pounds of pelletized lime on there. That would equal almost 8 ton of ag lime. Now, if you want to go and get your dollar's worth of high dollar fertilizer and only end up with a quarter, what you're doing is all that phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen is going into the water table. Leaching out, goes into the water. We already have that issue here in Iowa. You want that fertilizer to go be consumed by that forage that you're planting, so you'll be a good land steward and that you're doing it right. It's that fertilizer you're putting on is just not going down into the groundwater and being leaching into the tributaries that which go into the rivers, which end up in your drinking tap. So to get your full amount on your dollar, liming is important. And like I said, I want to emphasize that. Yeah, I want to drive that point home. And when I'm putting up landscape timbers, I use a 2-pound mini maul to drive that 12-inch nail home. And that's what I want to use this hammer for, is to drive liming home. That's the most critical part of your food plot. Now for you hardhead people, I got a bigger hammer for you to drive it harder. You've got to understand that. You can't just go out and throw seed on the ground. I don't care how much celebrityism's behind that. It's not going to grow and it's going to germinate, but you're not going to get your full return on it. Now I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. This tissue in this demonstration is the land with a low pH. Just a piece of tissue. Dry. If we take that and take a bag of 624-24, if you put this rag and mix it all around, when you pull the land out without lime in it, it's going to have very little staying power. Nothing's going to really cling to that dry land or that low pH. Now, we're going to take that same rag, we're going to dump it in the water. We're going to get the water, the rag is the land, the water is the lime. Now, I'm going to take that same bag, get it down there, I'm going to stick it into there, and there, folks, there's what lime does for you. In this case, it was water to a dry cloth. You see how with the right liming process, the fertilizer clings to the soil, the rag being the soil. Dry rag, low pH, the fertilizer does not cling to it. It does not get into the roots. It falls off. That's why it's important. And I don't care what so-called Saturday morning wannabe celebrity is preaching to you. I'm talking the truth, Jack. I just demonstrated this the best knowledge I can. Dry rag, low pH. No clinging. You get none of your fertilizer clings to the soil. Gets into the roots. Lime it, water on the rag. Lime being that water, puts the nutrients that you spent your money on, that dollar. Now you're getting your whole dollar's worth. Before you was only getting a quarter's worth, plus you were polluting the groundwater. So let's go get the lime on. But I do these videos not for myself. I'm no pro staff anything. I'm Don Mealey, the non-typical Norwalkian. And I will challenge any of those so-called experts out there. Well, I'm talking about that. I'll tell you how experts are. I went to one co-op. I said, I want to get some ag lime. Ah, that ag lime ain't no good. Pelletized lime, that's no good, blah, blah, blah. And this was an agronomist. And he said, we go with ag lime. Pelletized lime doesn't do anything. Only might this far. I go to another co-op. And another gentleman, oh yeah, pelletized lime's the greatest thing there ever was. You know, you get there, and you know, it's really great, costs a little more money. But for fruit plotters, it's really a godsend because you can apply it with a spinner. You cannot apply your ag lime with a spinner. But that was two supposedly agronomists going both this way on the same subject. And like I said, that documentation that I got from one of the oldest lime people in the business states the only difference between ag lime and pelletized lime is the cost. Ag lime is cheaper. That's why farmers run with it. They got more acreage. Food plotters, it's a plus. The plus is you can put it on with a spinner. You can put it into small places. You can put it on with an ATV spinner, with a tractor spinner. Ag lime you can't. I loaded one of those brand new spinners up with ag lime one time, and it took the shape of the cone and it packed in there. And when I threw the PTO on, it tore the transmission right out of that spinner. You cannot put ag lime on with a spinner. But you can put pelletized lime on it, and if you've got a small four-wheeler, a Ranger or whatever with a spinner, pelletized lime is perfect. But just remember this demonstration. You put the lime on, which is the water, you pull it out, there's what you're looking for. Sticking to the dirt, getting into the roots. Dry rag doesn't even exist. Waste of fertilizer, plus bad land management and stewardship. Well, that's it. Let's get this stuff on the ground. We got a long day to go. Had an incident last month up here. Leaving your equipment out in the woods sometimes become a breakdown in the making. This wire loom cost $720 in a day and a half to take off and put back. Major pain. If you notice, you see those wires right there, they were all eaten off. The culprit was field mice. All farmers and everybody that ever leaves anything in the field outside causes that. Well, what that did, and I'll show you, on the tractor, it caught the tractor on fire right above the fuel tank. Had it been a gasoline machine, you may have had issues. Thank God I had a fire extinguisher that day. The first time in my life that I ever used a fire extinguisher. Like I say, $720. Those mice made a house in there and ate that off, and I mean, it bursted into flames. So, something to think about. Now, there's a remedy on the market, a product that's supposed to cure that, and I'll show you. Yeah, you notice that burnt spot right there? That's how I threw my coat over it and melded my coat onto that. That's the fuel tank. The mouse nest was right under here. It would have been a neat video, but you're not videoing on that. That was get the fire out. Anyhow, had that been a gas machine, you could have had major issues. Being it's diesel, it didn't ignite. But it burnt so hot that it melted my coat. The flames were coming out from underneath the hood. Make a product called Fresh Cab, and I've wedged these up in there. Fresh Cab, you buy them at your Ace Hardware, and they come in packets of 4, and they put out quite a stringent odor, and as you can read that, it says rodent resistant repellent. And so when I leave these out here now, I tried dryer sheets, but they lose their power. But this stuff was designed by farmers especially for that problem. Well, like I say, it burnt that whole wire harness off, but that's supposed to be the cure-all. So stuff it up in there where the mice can't get, and that should keep them out of there. Because I was just lucky it didn't burn that. If that would have been a gas tractor and that close to the gas tank, I don't know. It'd have been time to get out of Dodge. Just a little tech tip for you guys, because we're all going to do that. But give that product right there. I'm not endorsing it one way or the other. I'm just telling you it's available. And see if it'll do you any good. I know Ace Hardware sell them. So they come in a packet of 4, stuff 4 of them in there, and then when you're going to use the tractor, I'm going to take them out so they don't get caught on fire themselves. So anyhow, that's it from the non-typical Norwalkian. A little tech tip on leaving your machinery in the woods. Yeah, what you're looking at right there is 4,000 pounds. That's 2 ton. Yeah, ag lime would be about half the price. It was $400. And nobody said food plotting was cheap. And anybody that does, get the hell away from them in a hurry, because they're just doing it on the fly. Not to say, you know, there's other ways of getting fertilizer into the ground. Horse manure, cow manure. If you have availability to that'd go a long way. But with this lime, is you know, it's bought at Menards, so most of you can get it. Now, this is going to do 4 acres. So, you know, we got Like I said, there's 100 bags on there at $4. It's $400. But that's pretty cheap, really, considering the accessibility. Now you got the spreader with it too. So you're going to throw in another $600–700 for that. So you're looking at right there to put that much lime on. If you're going to do it, you're going to have the tractor, which you're going to have some kind of equipment, tillage equipment anyhow. But that spreader right there will put pelletized lime on perfectly. That's one nice thing over ag lime. Put ag lime in there, it'll take the shape of that spreader and break the transmission instantly. I learned that the hard way. I'm not above anybody in the audience. I make mistakes through trial and error. And I got a brand new one of those sitting home waiting for a transmission. Get this spreader off. Another thing about taking care of your body. I'm 66 years old and I can outwork 99 9/10 of the American public at my age. And I was hell on wheels when I was in my 30s. Put them cigarettes down, put the booze down, get on a diet. You're going to need your body as a tool. If you ain't got no tool in the future, you ain't got no life. So think about that every time you're about ready to light that cigarette up. If you're supposed to smoke, you'd have been built with a tailpipe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I had a bag down when I brought it up, so there's 14 bags in that spreader. So let's get spreading it on. It's getting hot. There's no real major way of getting that on. You can run fairly fast, keep the same speed, keep the power takeoff running. If you overlap, that's not a big deal. Just get it on the ground. It's not going to burn the ground, so it's not like a fertilizer.